We've been waiting a couple of years for this to happen. It finally has. So what you're looking at right here is the Karma Revero, a $150,000 four-door luxury sedan, hybrid electric, plug-in hybrid electric, I should add. Many of you might recognize this car because it started out life as the Fisker Karma, designed by Henrik Fisker, who came up with a beautiful design. But his company went out of business, and a new group of investors, including Chinese money, stepped in to buy the company out of bankruptcy. They decided they were going to take advantage of being able to develop this car. They changed a number of things. If you take a look at the front end here, the Fisker Karma had kind of a toothy grin look to it. With Karma Revero, they have smoothed it all out. You'll notice too that they changed the headlamps from what they were before. In fact, what the Karma people will tell you is they took advantage to change literally every single panel on this car. Not only is the front end different, the hood is changed, the fenders are changed, the door outers are changed. And if you come around all the way to the rear end of the vehicle, you'll see that the tail lamps are different than what they were on the Fisker, although you'll notice the shape is pretty much the same. In fact, they very much wanted to keep the overall proportions and shape of the car because Henrik Fisker did such a terrific job with it. They also made a number of changes on the interior. The seats are all new. The steering wheel has changed. All the controls in the vehicle are updated and very different. On this particular one, they warmed it up with nice wood and brown leather accents, though you can get different trim levels depending on what you'd like to have. So there, in a nutshell, is how they've changed this car from the Fisker Karma to the Karma Revero. Let's take a look at some of the mechanical changes that Karma made when they took over from Fisker with the Revero. It starts under the hood. Under Fisker, they had a four-cylinder General Motors engine. With Karma, they've got a three-cylinder BMW range extender. In fact, this will get you about 80 miles of pure electric range. That's up from 50 miles before. Key reason for that is before they had a 21 kilowatt hour battery. Now it's a 28 kilowatt hour battery. And the performance of this is pretty good. 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds. That's using a combination of electric and gasoline power. And you got to take a look at the brakes on this thing too, because with a car that goes that fast, you want to haul it down. It has 6 piston calipers, which is really going to haul this thing down very, very quickly. Put it all together, you've got 300 miles of range, and with the acceleration, the electric range, the total driving range, this is a significant upgrade from what the car was before. One of the best aspects of the Karma Revero is they've done a terrific job with the graphics and the interface on this vehicle. Here on the center console, you'll see one of the coolest things I've ever seen in any car ever. When have you ever heard of a car company having its own radio station? But in the Karma Revero, you get KARM 950 out of Orange County, California, and it's streaming on the internet. That's how you get it. It plays soft jazz kind of music, and then between songs, someone with a proper British accent comes on and tells you a little bit about the car and about the company. So very unique. I've never seen anything like that done before. But let's go through some of the different things that you can see on this car. First off, let's just call up the vehicle itself. And as you'll see, there's very nice graphics where you can just turn the car around. It will also put out what the tire pressure is in the vehicle. Another thing that I like is gauges. You can select from different gauges. For example, here's one that tells you the G-forces when you're driving with acceleration and lateral force and braking. And if you hold that down, it will pop up on the instrument cluster right behind the steering wheel. I think that's pretty neat. Very reconfigurable. But it goes beyond that as well. Let's say you want to adjust the mirrors. You just touch this little mirror icon on the screen, and these dots come up that will control the left side and the right side mirrors so that you can put it any way that you want. Moreover, for putting the vehicle in reverse where the mirrors turn down, you can set them to turn down exactly the way that you want, because different people at different heights and all that want to be able to set it the way that they want to. When you get into other things like state of charge, again, very beautiful graphic of the car, and it will show you the power consumption to the rear wheels, to the accessories, what kind of power the generator is producing. So you get a lot of very detailed information about this vehicle. And you can play all day long with these controls. Don't do it while you're driving, because there's just so many things that you can look at. I also want to mention the controls on the steering wheel. Very nicely done. These are pieces of cut glass. It's like the same kind of glass that you're going to have on your smartphone. They're touch sensitive and you get good haptic feedback. In fact, if you press down harder, you get secondary functions. So you can do a lot just with the steering wheel and never have to take your hands off it. So when you put it together, what Revero, or Karma, has done with the Revero is really impressive. They've done all of this in-house, by the way. And because they have over-the-air update capabilities with at least 18 different modules on the car, a lot of what I've just showed you will get updated over time. One of the features that every owner of a Karma Revero is going to want to try out at least once when they own the car is to put it into launch mode. That allows you to tap into 536 horsepower, including the 3-cylinder BMW range extender and all the power out of the battery pack. It gives you almost 1,000 foot-pounds of torque, which you really need in a big, heavy sedan like this one. Let's go through the procedure of how you get into launch mode. Very easy. Of course, first you start up the vehicle. Then you put it in drive. Then you use the paddle on the left-hand side to put it into sport mode, and then you put your foot firmly on the brake and hit the accelerator pedal. Put it to the floor and just leave it there. A set of lights will show up, red lights like the start of a Formula One race, and when the last one goes off, take your foot off the brake and it'll launch.